The 1917 Constitution's authors decided that religion was a deterrent to reform, and because of that, a war killed 60,000 people in Mexico. This is the Christero Wars explained by John DeSantis. The 1917 Constitution's authors decided that religion was a deterrent to reform. The Christian values empowers land ownership through the control of religious institutions. The laws ban, for example, foreign-born priests are not allowed into Mexico state. While Carranza, in typical Carranza fashion, did not actually do anything to ratify the Constitution, Obregón completed moderate actions to bring Mexico into secularism. He expelled some Spanish priests, including a famous papal nuncio, the Monsignor of Ernesto Filippi. Calles was much more extreme in the secularization of Mexican society. He took the church head-on and brought an anti-clerical policy. He was very much against the organizational hierarchy of the church. He closed the churches and convents while making public statements about archbishops in a very negative manner. He even attempted to arrest an archbishop for simply opposing a law. Eventually, Calles was moved to the extreme in proposing a law to arrest priests for up to 5 years if they were to criticize the laws, authority, or government. The action was, of course, met with mass protests, with both civic groups such as the ACJM and the UP, as well as La Liga petitioning for the retraction of such proposals. Bishops in outrage followed, proposing petitions to rescind the laws right in front of Congress. The Mexican church decided to stop all public worship on July 25th, 1917, in order to call for support. No more us, no more God. Thanks. The clerical powers did not directly propose the political directions, though, nor did the Vatican. This is because they were afraid of more extreme religious repressions, such as those occurring around the French Revolution. Rather, organizations like La Liga were the most powerful leading directions. In central and western Mexico, like Michoacán, Jalisco, and other regions have been deep-rooted in Catholicism since colonial times. Life was likely more stationary because of the distance from trade in the eastern side of the country, combined to poverty, which led to a very established system of religion in that region. In July 1927, those forces rose, led by Cristeros, meaning soldiers of the Christ, against the Calles regime. Their forces were supported by conservative forces that lost during the revolution. They also held spite against the Calles regime for their land reform and had a lot to prove. Then war. The resolution of the conflict was initiated by Ambassador Dwight Morrow. He was a comfortable mediator who seemed to end conflict without favoring one side over the other. This is because Calles conducted land reform, which was very much against U.S. interests, while the church was Catholic, which the U.S. was not necessarily aligned with. That said, the death of Alvarado Obregón, not related, put the talks to resolve the Christero problem on hold. It took President Portes Gil, handpicked by Calles as a provisional president, who finally took on the task of holding peace talks again with the help of Morrow. Archbishop Leo Flores led talks with him, bringing Christero Wars to an end. Tens of thousands of lives were spent during this war, but nothing fundamentally changed. The law thing real. They did agree to not enforce the laws that remained in a manner hostile to the church, but at the end of the war, the government continued to increase hegemony over the Catholic Church. The clergy would also continue to resist educational reforms, though, with what a historian refers as a bloody stalemate, as conflicts over Mexican culture, social reform, and control have never been really resolved, rather continuing to perceive as social issues.